From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. On tonight's episode, Trump's lawyer and friend Peter Ticktin, weathering the storms with Channel 4 meteorologist Leah Hill, and the Right Mind studio band, Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
You are only 40 years old. You turned 40 last week, and now you're sitting here. You're sitting here in front of me. I am not making this up. With a bowl of old man oatmeal.
Todd, my teeth have gotten real loose since last week.
What hell is going on? I have never sat across from you while you're eating a bowl of oatmeal. This is unbelievable. I wish everybody could see through their radios that you. What is this about? This is crazy.
You hear me shifted in my seat a little bit here? That's the crinkle of a diaper.
Well,
There's no rules anymore. I don't have to chew because I just swallow everything I get my freaking teethers on, and that's why I've got oatmeal. And I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. I get to wear a diaper.
You're just 40, buddy. You're not 800 years old. Why are you eating oatmeal?
You know, I get to shoplift now too. If I just walk out with bananas, they can't stop me because I'm old.
Only at Publix.
No, anywhere. Snooks. That's how my British stepmother calls it. She calls it snooks.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then Chop and Save.
Yeah.
They're out of business because I stole too much.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You caught me by surprise. I was full of muxton. You know, I sit down here. Now, not often you come in with a bowl of oatmeal.
My whole life, Mother's been saying, act your age. And now I've decided to take her advice. And that's why I've also decided to not use this leg over here. This leg right here, useless. Now I carry a stick like an umbrella. I carry an umbrella with me and use it as a cane.
I have an umbrella right there.
I know. Thank you for that's my newest birthday present, a golf umbrella for me to cane around with.
Yeah, I know. Well, you always say, hey, we're not going to talk about the weather because that seems to really bug you. Because you say, what did you tell me the one time that there are certain people here at the station that like to talk about the weather a lot, and you just say, well, that's just chit chat that doesn't belong on the radio. But I brought in my umbrella. But today we are going to talk about the weather. We have, the weather person from Channel 4 coming in, Leah Hill, who also, I don't know if you saw my little comment earlier or note that I wrote, but the main reason I want to have her in here today is not about the weather, because the weather's terrible. It's always bad in St. Louis. But she's a big thrift store person. So maybe I thought you, and I could talk about thrift stores.
Yeah, there was the time where I was dog sitting next door to your house, and you were at the thrift store, and you said, baby buddy Joey, come on up. We're going thrifting today.
That's right.
And nobody bought anything. It's more about the experience of looking at the pores and knowing that you're better than them.
Yeah.
There's people that actually can't survive without a gravy boat that has Santa Claus on it that they use all year long.
That was mine.
Yeah.
That was mine. I just returned that for the Elvis plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You bet. Oh,
I love the 472-piece puzzles that they sell at the thrift store, too. Oh, who needs 500? Well, it's just harder.
We were just talking to somebody, because we're in this corporate prison, where everybody, it's like with the cubicles and all this stuff, and people come in here and they do these jobs until they die. It's just horrible. And we just met somebody as we were setting up our puzzles.
Hey, Carol.
Like, hi, Carol, how you doing? Ethan says hi. Anyway, I mentioned to her, speaking of puzzles, that what I like to do is wherever they sell puzzles, I like to go in and take a couple of the pieces out, so when people are putting them together at home with family, or when there's some epidemic that's not real and they got to put these puzzles together, they're missing a couple. Isn't that funny?
I had no idea a big puzzle was behind the plandemic so they could keep us all indoors doing more puzzles.
Did you not notice that?
I did not notice that.
When all that ridiculous scammery was going on and everything, out of the woodwork, I had friends that, oh, look, I'm making a puzzle. It's like a sunset over the North Pole. I'm like, why? Here's what I was. If I were ever going to make a puzzle, I wouldn't cheat, because you're cheat if you can see the picture. I would turn them over on the upside down so you don't get to see the picture, and then you put the puzzle together, because that's what a real puzzle is all about. I don't need to see a landscape of Serbia or something like that. I want to see a big flat sheet of cardboard all put together.
What's great about my grandma being a little older than me, I just turned 40, so
you're eating oatmeal.
And I'm starting to be a little senile, so it may be genetic, but grandma's a little bit more out of sorts. She has an iPad in front of her at all times when she's awake, and so it's connected directly to Jeff Bezos. And anytime she says, hey, Jeff, you up? He immediately sends her 10 more puzzles.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do them at all. All of the puzzles that I brought in for our photo today were still sealed. I'm sure you noticed they were in the plastic
Yeah, I did
still.
notice that.
And that's because Grandma's so generous, and she likes to donate puzzles to those in need, especially people like me.
Now, does she know that she gave you all these puzzles? Because if she's senile, here's a great idea. I mean, you could just give these puzzles back to her as a gift for her birthday and Christmas, and she would know that she already had given them to you.
It would just be us doing it back and forth because I'm losing it too.
You can't say doing it back and forth with your grandma. I mean,
why not?
That's just not right. You're spilling your oatmeal. I cannot believe you're eating oatmeal, and you're even eating it out of like a thrift store bowl that looks like somebody's grandma had.
You know what they say, never eat on air when you're doing radio because the listeners, 98% of them have misophonia. And that's where if you hear someone chewing, you actually just throw up in your car while you're driving, and you have to close your eyes when you puke, and then they crash.
Oh, yeah.
But what you can do legally is you can slurp.
Slurp?
So that's why I've got my oatmeal soup here.
Yeah.
Because if I slurp, no one can hear me chew, and then I don't get arrested for the misophonia deaths.
Misophonia. I think that's something. Aren't lawyers out there? If you suffer from misophonia, you may be entitled to compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could offer that. Guess what? We got Peter Ticktin. He's like banging on the window here. He wants to talk to us. Can we go to him really quick?
Let's put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. I tell you what, we're going to go. This is Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy Joey V on the Right Mind Show. Before we go to break, though, I just want to let you know that Peter Ticktin is outside. He's just waiting. He needs to get on the line with us. So we'll be on the line with him when we come back and much more. Like I said, this is the Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Trump's friend and lawyer Peter Ticktin. Welcome back to the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who would never storm the Capitol because all that rain might make his bronzer run, Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy Joey V over here eating his oatmeal. I have no idea what this is about, but more importantly, on the line now is one of our favorites. It's Peter Ticktin. He's a good friend of Donald Trump. He's his attorney, and he's got all kinds of info. But well, I want to jump right into it, Peter. I mean, well, how's the January 6th stuff going? You got debunking a bunch of it.
Well, I recently brought 10 requests for pardons up to Ed Martin, who's the pardon attorney now.
Okay.
At the Department of Justice, and that's looking promising.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that works out. What? These are guys that were given clemency, but they weren't given pardons. 2 of them are still in prison.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we've got activist judges that just the way they are, and sooner or later maybe they'll see the wrongness of their ways.
Yeah, I got you. Well, we've got, a lot of stuff is coming out. We've got, the FBI, Cash coming out and saying that there's going to be a big revelation here shortly. Do you got any insider information on that? Because a lot of these people, we know people that were, it's basically, in the outskirts, the area that ended up being put in jail, which is ridiculous. But, is there anything that you know about that, maybe coming out that the public doesn't know?
Well, I don't know what Cash has got.
Yeah.
But I know what I've got.
Yeah.
For 9 months, Donald Trump had me marshaling the evidence regarding January 6th.
Right. Okay.
And I've got stuff that nobody has seen. Nobody has, until now, nobody has really wanted to publish.
Okay.
But I can tell you that we have really clear evidence. Videotapes of meetings involving hundreds of people back to September 2020. Where they were planning January 6th, and I don't mean left-wingers, right-wingers. I don't mean MAGA people.
Right.
I don't mean conservatives. I mean left-wingers were planning to break windows and go into the Capitol building on January 6th as far back as September before the election.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I guess and there's more of that that's going to come out. We had Jake. He's the American shaman person. It's he's pretty much the central figurehead of a lot of the January 6th stuff. And he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he pretty much pointed out he went there peacefully. It was like, and a lot of people that were there, even that maybe even last minute. I don't know. But it just seems that nobody went there with the intention of what the narrative came out talking about. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that a lot of this stuff was planned. One of the things I want to see happen, though, do you think we got a lot of stuff? There's been a lot of revelations. I mean, we have Pam Biondi with the Attorney General. We have the stuff that Kash Patel's doing. I mean, a lot of stuff is coming out, and they're saying, okay, we know this happened. Do you think there's going to be I mean, are there going to be consequences to this? I mean, are people actually going to be punished and sent to jail for putting this kind of thing together?
Well, I certainly hope so. Let's think about this for a second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean if people were planning this advance? Why would they ever do such a thing?
Right.
So, right now, because of whatever's been shown and whatever, rhetoric's been exposed, we've got the Unselect Committee, and so on and so forth, basically telling lies that 5 police officers were killed. No police officers were killed.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, there were 4 people that were killed, but they were all on our side. So, what we're looking at is so if it was pre-planned, then it's more like what happened with Hitler and the Reichstag. In other words, if the election was stolen, which it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anybody's questioning whether the election was stolen or not, just look at a few basic facts. Forget all the detailed evidence. I mean, just look at the fact that you got 4 swing states. No state has ever before stopped the vote to continue the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And here you have 4 swing states that are not communicating supposedly between themselves, all stop the count at the same time. And then in each case, Donald Trump was ahead. And then the next morning, when they get going again, Joe Biden's ahead, and you look at the graph, and all the votes are 100% for him. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree. I agree.
And so, or just anyway, there's other evidence that's just obvious.
Oh, I agree totally.
Right. So then the point is, so if the election was stolen, who stole it? Who fixed the election? We know it wasn't Joe Biden. He can't fix a flat tire. All right?
That's true. I don't know if he even knows what a tire is at this point.
At this point, I don't know. You say tire, he says I can use it an app. So the fact is that they took over our country for 4 years, and in the course of that, and thank God we've got somebody like Ed Martin,
right,
in place there as the pardon attorney, because I got to tell you, he gets it. He's actually a really bright guy.
Well, he's actually from St. Louis here, and actually Joey here, my producer and sidekick, Joey produced his radio show here in St. Louis, so he's actually a local guy here. So it's great to hear that he's.
So you guys know.
Yeah,
you already know the intellect. I mean, this guy's got it.
Yeah, sure.
And he sees the reality.
Yeah.
Of what the heck was going on. But if you think in terms of what happened here, those people that did it, or whoever you want to call them, whether it's the cabal or whether it's China or whether it's the globalists or whether it's the World Economic Forum, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing from most people is it's a combination of these things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Whoever they are, they didn't leave the planet when Donald Trump got elected. They're still here.
Right.
They didn't roll into a ball and die, and they didn't give up their rights. They didn't sell their interest in the media. They didn't give up their control of our educational system. They didn't give up social media. Whatever they had, they still have.
Right.
And whatever their reasons and desires for being able to take over the world and dominate are still as alive as they ever were.
Oh, I agree.
We've got 4 years to fix this.
Yeah,
it can't be business as usual. We can't just go after local crime or a crime that's occurring. We need to look back and see what the heck happened here. And one of the things that gives us a real window of what they were doing was the burning of the Reichstag. Because that's what Hitler did in 1933.
Sure.
After he was appointed chancellor, he burned down their parliament building and blamed it on the communists, and then took over as the Fuhrer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he did it.
Yeah.
And that's what was going on here. That's what January 6th really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It isn't a bunch of protesters that got to be unruly. It was a bunch of protesters that were used as pawns who were actually, standing there peacefully when the Metropolitan Police, not the Capitol Police, but the Metropolitan Police bombarded them with percussion grenades and with tear gas and shooting rubber bullets into the crowd. I mean, they didn't deserve that. They weren't doing anything to warrant anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then they get blamed and they got smeared. Why? So that nobody would have a voice challenging the election.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest should be the biggest group that should be held accountable with all of this is the media, because they were very much a part of pushing this narrative where they didn't want you to know what actually happened. I think a lot of that was predetermined as well, and you only saw clips, and it was like putting together a Hollywood movie. I mean, you can take any clips that you want and design the narrative as you see be, and I think that they should be held accountable as much as anybody. Do you agree?
I not only agree, but I don't know if you're aware, but there were actually actors in the crowd that were starting out doing what their act was supposed to be. And if you carefully examine the videos and so on regarding Ashley Babbitt, there's a lot to be unearthed about that as well.
Right. And that's why I think they should be held accountable. I mean, again, I think it's great. And I agree. I know some people that's like, well, that's, let bygones be bygones. That's in the past. Let's just move ahead. No, I don't think you can do that. I think if you do that, you're basically saying, okay, it's okay. But, we're just going to forget about it this time, and hopefully you don't do it again. No, I think if you actually take action and you hold people accountable and say, hey, this is what happens when you do this. Don't ever do it again. I think that's what needs to be done. And I'm hoping, I know that you're working with the people that were falsely imprisoned, but I hope along with any type of monetary settlement, I hope that there's criminal prosecution and some of these people go to jail for orchestrating this whole thing.
Oh, some people did horrible things throughout this whole process.
Oh,
that not only includes prison guards, that includes police that did the arrests, aiming their guns at children, with the red dots of the laser pointers, our sights, whatever you call it, are pointed at the chests of young children.
Yeah, it's terrible.
While their parents are put out in the cold and having to stand there while their house is ransacked for hours and hours on end with the kind of crews that you would expect to go after bin Laden for misdemeanors.
I know. Yeah.
But I'll tell you why you're so right about what you're saying. What you were saying is, let bygones be bygones is idiocy. The reason that you're so right is because God help us if they ever come back.
Oh, sure.
Look what they were doing. Believe me, it wasn't just J6. They were arresting all kinds of people. And the J6 people, by the way, we're not talking about riffraff. We're not talking about bad people.
No.
We're talking about people that own businesses, people that had jobs, people that had families. They're put into prison. They're treated the worst you could be treated. They get into some facilities and they're told that these are all bigots that hate blacks. They're put in there and they're told and the guards are all told that they murdered police officers. They're treated the worst that you could ever imagine a person could be treated in these situations where they're put into solitary confinement for month after month after month. It's horrible what they did to these folks.
No, it's criminal.
And what were they doing? What was their sin? Singing "God Bless America" at the Capitol, outside, and then being told to come inside by the police, and then being charged for being inside.
No, No, I agree. It's a travesty, and I think again, I hope these people are financially compensated. But along with that, I'd love to see, and I really hope that a lot of people. There are criminal consequences to this, and I hope some people are sent to jail for it because it's absolutely horrible, and we cannot let that happen again. Ever, and it's time to identify, who this, secretive deep state is, or whoever these globalists are who are pulling the strings. But we got to put an end to it because our country is at stake. So we're about out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to throw in here before we let you go? Otherwise, I can't wait to see what the developments are over the next few weeks.
Every day is Christmas.
Every day, I can't, Peter. I can't believe you said that, because I was actually talking to a couple of neighbors. This is back in January, and everybody's so ecstatic over the inauguration and everything. And I casually said to a neighbor of mine, "Every day is Christmas," and she laughed. And now every time I see her out getting her paper or whatnot, I say "Merry Christmas," and she laughs, and so every day is Christmas.
We're getting our country back. We really are.
Thank
we
God.
Got people that have the guts to make sure that it happens.
I agree totally.
So, a lot of people are in there and doing what they need to do.
Well, my friend, I'm going to let you go, but I cannot wait to have you back on, because there's so much more I want to talk with you about. But in the meantime, I want to thank you very much. And if you do talk to President Trump, please tell him we think he's doing a great job.
I'll be happy to. And thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Peter. Bye-bye. I always enjoy having Peter on, because, we get into these. But can you tell, though, there's some guests that we have on the show, and it's not just my bronzer. It's not my bronzer, even though I am using a new blend or new shade. But I get a little hot. I get a little steamed. I get a little worked up, because some of these things just get me going. And I'm sorry you finished your oatmeal. Was it good? Was it good?
It was wonderful oatmeal. Thank you very much. And I want to tell you a top secret tip about Ed Martin if you ever see him in person.
Please do.
He doesn't have a sense of smell.
Get out of
So
here.
if you're 40 like me and you accidentally fill your diaper because you're so old, he won't even notice, and he'll still be good friends with you.
Well, guess what? We're gonna get to Leah Hill now. She's going to be our next guest coming in studio, but I'm going to kind of rush her, because it looks like you're about ready for a nap, and that's another thing that happens when you get older. So anyway, when we come back, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy Joey V, who's laying down eating oatmeal.
My pants are drenched, Leah. Why are they so wet?
It's a new diaper.
I need a meteorologist.
Oh boy, this is the Right Mind Show. We hopefully will be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Channel 4 meteorologist Leah Hill. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who never body shames his doctors and doesn't mind a meaty urologist, Todd Showalter.
Hey, we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And sitting next to me now, Joey, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. You always say we're not going to talk about the weather because, that's what amateurs.
Small talk.
We don't do that. But today we are going to talk about the weather and some other things, because sitting next to me is Leah Hill. She is the best meteorologist in the entire world.
Oh, my.
And she came in here to be just with us.
She is on the station all the time, because News Talk STL is a partner with Channel 4, and it's so crazy to see her in real life. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. And wow, quite the introduction. Best meteorologist in the world.
Well, that's what your
I don't
notes
know
said.
about that.
You told me to say that on your show notes. The best meteorologist in the world, and along with a bunch of other stuff. Do you just want me to cross-check these with you?
Now I feel like I got to manage expectations
you'll
a little
do
bit.
Great. You've never been wrong about the weather, have you?
Never have been wrong in my life.
I didn't think you had been. So tell me, when you become a meteorologist, that's kind of cool. That's like the cool science, biology, geology. That's kind of boring and stuff. Like the nerdy science teachers do that. What did you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a meteorologist?
It actually was a very different story. It started from a fear of weather.
Really?
I would wake up whenever I heard thunderstorms, and I'd be the kid that'd be running to the closet and hiding from the storms and trying not to hear the thunder and wrapping myself in blankets. And it all changed when I was in 8th grade. I took a class on meteorology. We spent just a couple of months learning about it, super basic stuff. Cloud identification. What is a tornado? How do clouds form? What are the different measurement tools that we use in meteorology? And that just changed my whole perspective of the science. And I realized, okay, that fear I had as a kid, not really a fear anymore. Now I'm really interested in it. And here we are.
I'm glad you picked that set of geology, because if you were on Channel 4 talking about rocks and stuff like that, it'd get a little bit boring after a while.
It would get a little bit boring after a while. I did take a geology class, and I did fall asleep several times in that class.
Were we in the same class? Because I did that in all my classes.
I learned a trick in college. I would get the super hot, or not the hot candy, but the spicy candy, the sour candy, and I would just be eating those the entire time during my 8 a.m. classes just to stay awake.
Really? I learned how to sleep with my eyes open. You should have done that. I did that for years. I mean,
I got to learn your tricks.
Oh, it's pretty good. Well, you went to Oklahoma, right?
I did.
Okay, because that's a great weather school, because that's where all the tornadoes, they hang out there, don't they?
And that was kind of the plan. I wanted to be in the action zone where some of the craziest weather in the country happens. So I purposefully picked OU for that reason.
Yeah.
Did not see too much activity, actually, when I was in college. It was a pretty, which from a people's perspective, I was glad that it was a calm season and that the weather wasn't that crazy. It wasn't until after I left college that I had some of my more wild weather experiences.
Really? Do tell. What's a wild weather experience?
I would say we were out in Texas, me and a couple friends. We were observing storms, I like to say. They were in the middle of nowhere, and that's where we watched or saw 5 tornadoes in one day.
5 tornadoes in one day? What'd you think?
It was pretty incredible when you see them over open fields and not impacting anybody, not even hitting farmland or any tractors, nothing like that. It was just in an open field. Just see how the winds come together, how the clouds rotate, just everything that we see on radar on a day-to-day basis, just watching that come to life is pretty incredible. And then, again, just knowing that it's not hurting anybody. That's
you don't see that in geology. You don't see, like, rocks and stuff like that coming together.
You don't see the rocks forming. Right. Maybe a rock slide on occasion.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you talked about tornadoes, and we had a huge tornado that just came through here. Usually it doesn't hit, like, cities. Usually it just goes up Highway 44. It's always, like, Troy or Franklin County. I think, like, they're just magnets for tornadoes. But what's the deal with this big tornado? Obviously, there's a lot of destruction. Did you guys see that coming way out?
We have been watching that particular day for quite a while. I would say on the Monday beforehand, we saw some signals that there could be some storms. And it was just one of those cases where the data wasn't coming in together yet. So we thought there could be some severe weather, but we just didn't have enough confidence to issue a first alert weather day, for example. I believe it was the Tuesday prior where we finally issued that first alert weather day. Come Wednesday, now we're starting to see, this threat is ramping up. By Thursday, the concern for tornadoes was even greater, and then Friday came along, and it was just one of those days where there were very few failure modes, I guess, with that type of storm system. So everything was suggesting that we were going to have some strong storms and tornadoes, and unfortunately, even violent or strong tornadoes at EF3 or EF2 or greater as strong tornadoes. And then worst case scenario happened on the 16th. We always hope for the best. But as I like to tell people, things happen. Hope is not a plan. We have to prepare for the worst, and that was worst case scenario for it to hit a major part of our city.
Well, do you ever have because I mean that obviously was a big one and stuff like that. When you guys are at the station, do you guys compete against each other? Like you and Kristen and Steve Temple, they'd say, "I think it's going to rain." They say, "No, it's not. It's not going to rain." I mean, do you ever have just kind of maybe start wrestling it out to figure out who's going to be right?
We're really good at a collaborative team, I would say.
Really? No fighting?
No fighting. We have some healthy banter on occasion,
right?
But we really discuss with each other the forecast, and we pass notes in between shifts, just so from one shift to the next, we're pretty consistent. But no infighting. Everybody's great.
So which one of the people there is just you don't really like them too much?
Oh, gosh. No, I like them all.
You sure? Yeah, Matt Chambers, is he okay?
Yeah, he's all right.
All right, okay. Do you have any people that ever go, do you ever, get angry at you? It's it's going to be, it rains and stuff, and you said it wasn't going to rain. I mean, do you ever have, viewers that are angry at you? Because I always find that really weird, because you don't do that for, the sports guy. It's the Cardinals lost today. Oh, Bob. It's not Bob's fault. So, you're just the messenger. Do you have people that get upset with you?
All the time. I think what was most shocking was even on the day that we had the tornado, I still had people who were in the comments angry at me that we were covering the tornado.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me because, like you said, we're the messenger.
Right.
We're not trying to lead people on. We don't want to hype anything up. But if we see that something could be a serious situation, then we take that tone and we treat it very seriously as well.
But it's not your fault. I mean, even if you get to even if you get it wrong, so what? I mean, if say we don't see the sun for like 800 days, like this year so far, it's like, Leah, I can't believe the sun hasn't come out. You say, what? I don't control the sun.
I wish I could. I always say, if I could control the weather, you probably wouldn't like the erratic weather that I would pick.
I don't think so. We could have a little more San Diego like type weather. That'd be great.
That would be nice.
Can you imagine being a meteorologist? Because I used to live in Los Angeles. I mean, you don't really have to do the weather out there. I mean, it's just basically every day sunny, a little bit of smog, and every day sunny. That'd be easy, wouldn't it?
You'd just be cruising along. It might get a little boring after a while.
Probably.
I do like the chaos.
Yeah, good beaches, though. Now, did you know that you wanted to be like on television? Because I wanted to ask you about that. So if you become, because you don't have televised biologist, okay? So did you know that you wanted to be on TV and be doing meteorology?
Not at all. Going into meteorology, I initially had a thought that I would do something behind the scenes, maybe working for the National Weather Service, maybe going back to school, gain a master's in meteorology. But there was a couple of things that sort of made me realize how big broadcasting was. So in 2011, the Joplin tornado, that was the big tornado that happened only a couple months after I realized I'm going to be a meteorologist when I'm older. And I watched the broadcasters on TV during that. I watched the Weather Channel. I was in St. Louis, living here at the time, but I was watching the Weather Channel. I was watching the broadcasters in Joplin. And I was following along with that coverage. So that was the first little seed that was planted in the back of my mind of how important of a role broadcasters have. Mm-hmm. And then I went to college, and during my freshman meteorology class, a broadcaster from Oklahoma City came and spoke to us and told us the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to broadcasting. And a whole bunch of my friends, they were all completely turned off from broadcasting. But I realized right then and there that I needed to be the
That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. Well, is there like it's like a screening process? Because I'm sure there's some people. You look great on television. I'm just saying. You've got the TV thing. Okay. Are there some people that they have to say, yeah, Jim, no, you're not television material here? I mean, are there some people that want to go into it that they better stick behind the scenes? How does that happen?
I think it just, in some ways, there's just this natural weeding out process.
I knew it. So you say, Jim, you're ugly. Leah looks good. Is that what it is? Yeah.
I think, people kind of just, there is, I guess, a bit of a stereotype about people on TV. No one comes to you and says, oh, you have to do this, or you have to look this certain way, or, oh, you're not good looking enough. But there is I feel like there's just sort of this natural process that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
It just kind of evolves.
It just kind of evolves, and it's a tough business. So the people who are meant to be in the position, they get there.
Right.
And then other people just are naturally weeded out.
That's kind of what my mom told me why I'm not going to be in the NBA or in the NFL. Just some people, it's naturally weeded out. Well, I want to get to the important part because I love the weather and stuff. I actually do. I love the weather as well. But here's the big thing, because here's what I like about you more than any other weather person. You're a big thrift store person, and so am I, and so is Joey. We are the biggest. I want to talk thrift stores because that really grabbed my attention. I said, I got to get Leah on. I got to talk to her, get to know her better. Because tell me about your thrift store experiences, and I'll tell you a couple of mine.
I'm curious about yours. I love swapping good thrift stores.
Well, what's your favorite one?
Kind now everybody's going to go there. But
don't tell. You're right. I hate that.
But there's a particular Goodwill. I'll do it this way. There's a Goodwill. It's not too far from. It's not quite a highway, but it's a pretty major route.
Okay.
Near here. It's near Creve Coeur.
It's like charades. Okay.
It is
Sounds
like charades, but it is a Goodwill, and I go there a lot.
Okay.
Because I get, there's a lot of people in Chesterfield that go there, and Creve Coeur that go there, and Ladue, and they all just donate to this particular Goodwill, and it's a smaller one. I don't know what it is about that one, but I'll just stop in for 10 minutes.
So that's like a little hidden gem.
It's a little bit of a hidden gem.
It's like the tourist thing. It's like if we tell everybody all the winter snowbirds are going to be here, and so you want to kind of keep that under wraps, but you'll tell me later, right?
I'll give you the address.
Okay,
we can go together.
Hey, sounds great. I'd love that. We can pick out stuff. Have you ever been to St. Vincent's? Okay, what do you think of that?
I like that one as well. Haven't had as much luck, but my brothers, they do a little bit of thrifting also.
Right.
They found suits there. We've gotten furniture there before.
Yeah.
All bets are off about what you can find at these places.
It's great. And here's the thing. I mean, I've gotten better stuff at thrift stores, and it's kind of like, you have the snobby people. I'm going antiquing. It's basically the same thing. It's just the label's different. Because I found what is the coolest thing aside from clothes that you've ever found in a thrift store?
Oh, that's hard. Shoes. I do thrift those on occasion.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. Like I found a $250 pair of shoes.
Really?
That I bought for like $15.
Okay, $15.
15? Yeah, that was a shock. Yeah. Most of my furniture is from thrift stores.
Yes.
I would say a lot of my decorations, I mean, as much as I can, I try to buy things used.
I know. It's better made. It's like the furniture you get. I mean, because it's like usually, and then now let me ask you this, though. When you're wearing, and because you have you've got stylish clothes and things like that, are you ever worried that it's from dead people?
I've never thought about it.
Oh, I do. Because here's the thing. Like, I'll see something like remember my shorts that I had, like the plaid ones that looked really good? I can't even remember who made them because I've never seen the brand. I got these plaid shorts for like $4 that I love. I mean, actually love them. But I'm thinking, I bet a dead guy, these are probably his wife got rid of these pants because the guy's dead. He's dead. Have you ever thought of that?
Now I'm going to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a thrifted shirt that was $4.
And it looks great, but it doesn't look like a dead person had that one.
I would hope not. Well, if this was someone's grandma's shirt, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a very stylish shirt. Grandma doesn't wear that. Joey, are you done with your oatmeal over here? Joey turned 40, okay, and suddenly he's eating oatmeal and he's really old. So that doesn't look like a grandma's shirt, does it?
Guaranteed dead people clothes. It's the only places I go to.
Right. Well, you got that shirt there, didn't you?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, that's way back.
You know what I recommend is the toy section at Savers on Watson. There's some good stuff over there, and I got a plasma ball, one of those little lightning balls for $3. Yeah. Gave it to my nephew. He still uses it as a nightlight.
Sure he does.
I feel like the greatest uncle ever. And low-key, the self-checkout ones, they're not that big on security.
Really? Oh. Well, he does the old two-finger discount or whatever they call it everywhere.
No. It goes to a good cause usually.
I know.
You should
I'm
pay
joking.
for the stuff at the thrift store.
Well, you have to know all the thrift stores because you grew up in St. Louis, didn't you?
I did,
You did? Okay, wow. So, I mean, I hate to ask you. Can I ask you the high school question? Do you mind? Or do you
I don't mind. No, but I have a little bit of a unique answer.
Oh, good.
I was actually homeschooled.
You were homeschooled.
I was homeschooled.
I went to that high school, too. No, not yours. No, I didn't. Okay, so you were homeschooled. Well, how'd that go?
I remember seeing you in the hall, yeah.
I do,
yeah.
What was that like? Were you homeschooled all the way through, like, your senior year?
So I started out homeschooled, and my mom taught me. We did go to a co-op every Friday. We would go to a co-op, and we would have teachers there, and they would teach us the lessons once a week, and then they'd give us assignments to last us Monday through Thursday.
Wow. So you said you got into meteorology in the 8th grade, so it was really your mom that pushed you into meteorology.
It was my mom and my 8th grade science teacher, that one day a week class that I took had a big impression on me.
Wow, that's amazing. The only thing I learned in homeschool was like recess and lunch. That's the only thing I needed. And detention, of course. Do they have detention when you homeschool?
I did not have detention. Now, I would get in trouble because I would spend way too much time outdoors, and then the storms would be coming in, and they became a little bit too close, and I was still outside when there was lightning out there, so I did get in trouble because of that.
Okay, I got you. Well, do you have because you're great on Channel 4? I mean, do you have some grand plan? Do you have higher aspirations? I mean, do you want to go I remember you had this guy Dave Murray that was here for a while, and Dave's he's a big weather nut. I don't know if you've not nut, but he just loves the weather. I think he retired and he still does weather at home. That tells you he's a big weather guy, and he was on like a Good Morning America for a while, but he didn't like it because I think you have to get up early. I think that's why. Anyway, but he didn't want to do it anymore, and he kept. Do you eventually want to be? Do you want to kick Al Roker off the spot?
Oh no! I've met Al Roker, and
have you met Al Roker?
He's fantastic.
I get mistaken for him a lot.
Well,
since the tummy tuck, I can see that. Yeah,
no. No, you don't think it's the mullet, isn't it?
It could be the mullet.
It's the bronzer.
It could be the bronzer. Yeah, that's it. Now, did you? Okay. I don't get my bronzer at the thrift store, but I mean, what Can you get stuff? You don't get your makeup there, do you?
No, that you have to buy new. I'd be a little bit afraid. That might be from dead people.
It could
You
be
get
dead
makeup
people
from
makeup.
the thrift store.
Maybe I have dead people
Mortuary went out of business, and you get all the leftovers. Yeah.
You have a significant other?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we've been my boyfriend Ollie. We've been together for coming up on 7 years now.
Okay. So what about Ollie? Should we not know that you want to share?
Well, he is a PhD meteorologist.
He's a meteorologist
too.
Really? Did you meet him in weather school?
Yeah, we met in Oklahoma. It was during my senior year, and he actually was there for an exchange.
Okay.
We have this program between OU and the University of Reading in the UK. So he came over on the exchange year, and we met and we hit it off, and we've been together ever since.
Ever since. Did you did you talk weather stuff? I mean, you say, hey, I think there's an Alberta Clipper coming. Oh, stop it, Ollie, you're just teasing me. Is it that kind of thing?
It is. There is. I like to say our first fight was about the weather.
Get out of here.
Whether or not we were going to have storms on this particular day, and there would be some tension when we were doing our assignments together. He got good grades, and occasionally I did not.
So it was about like cumulonimbus clouds as opposed to cirrus clouds.
Oh, more like the dynamics and the thermodynamics.
And
the derivations.
People.
Yeah.
One of those people. I got you. Well, you're also a runner. You're a runner. You just did the Go Marathon. Was this your first marathon?
That was my first.
Well, what'd you think?
It was a lot of fun. The hills took me off guard.
It's tough.
And I prepared for them.
Yeah.
But when you're there in the moment and you're running up them and it's mile 23 and there's another hill, it's brutal.
Do Chicago. That was my first marathon. And it was, I don't run marathons anymore because, well, I'm not as old as him. But I mean, it's like, because he's old now because he eats oatmeal. But I mean, that's totally flat. It's just totally flat. And, the biggest hill is like, no, there's no hills. And so it was a lot easier because I ran the Go half marathon, and that was harder than the Chicago full marathon. Isn't that something?
That is incredible.
Well, isn't that a great story? Kind of boring, but it's true.
I enjoyed it.
What about...
Well, you're so good at marathons, you can actually multitask. I've seen you make a movie at the Go Marathon while you were running it.
We made a movie. I shot a film called 26.2, and we actually shot it at the Go Marathon, and that was about 10 years ago. I'll just share it with you.
I want to see this.
It's really
I will
good.
share
That's
it
impressive.
I'll share it with you.
Because I was not capable of doing much else other than
this was all faking, acting. We were thespians in this thing.
It was freezing, and they kept throwing water on you and redoing the finish.
I was supposed to be sweating, and I got hypothermia, Leah. They kept throwing water on me and made me look like I was sweating, but I was also blue, and so it was really quite something. I'll share it with you. We'll watch it together.
We're going to be watching it after this, I imagine.
Oh, you better believe it. It's going to be a great one. Well, where's the crazy? Do you ever run Forest Park?
I do a lot.
Okay.
That is my big training course, especially because they have a lot of hills there, and you got to run on the hills as much as possible.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen there?
I've seen foxes.
Oh, really? I got you beat. I saw a naked guy in a tree.
Oh,
I really did.
I've not seen that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he's gone by now because that was years ago. But I used to live right next to Forest Park, and I used to run it every morning. I told you this story, didn't I? How many times? I have dementia now. Because did I tell you this story? No, of course not.
I haven't heard this one.
Coming down Skinker, we're right towards Clayton Road, and you start to make that turn towards the left where you're going through that wooded area before you go, do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a naked guy in a tree at 6 a.m. in the morning, and he was making like bird sounds. That was the craziest thing I have ever seen, and that seriously, I think not just running, but just period.
That giant Amoco sign really attracts the crazies. They just can't stop looking at it, and they walk into traffic. It's like Devil's Tower in that way. It makes people crazy.
If you stand close enough to that Amoco sign, you'll get free HBO, though. I've been hit by cars several times, too. Have you ever been hit by a car?
I've never been hit by a car.
3 times.
Nearly, but...
Yeah, 3 times. I'm like a magnet. I'm a magnet. And each time... they just drove on their way. They didn't stop. Now, here's the thing, and I'm not going to, this is not sexist or anything, I don't want it to come out wrong, okay? But if you ever see a soccer mom in a white minivan texting on her phone, get the hell away, because those are the ones, they just see me, and all of a sudden, boom, next thing you know, and I'm laying there on the ground saying, hey, you hit me, and they're driving on their way to soccer practice.
Who would have thought? You're going to be watching those vans.
Yeah, I tell you.
You post the bloody pictures online, though, as proof, so you can sue them later.
I never sue them.
You need to wear a body camera.
Well, no, I seriously, I mean, I wear all kinds of fluorescent stuff. I mean, I look like, some type of kid's character or something like that. No, I don't. But yeah, no, they just drive on their way. It's kind of crazy.
People need to be a little bit more aware.
I guess so. Either that or they do it on purpose. That's what my wife said.
Maybe they just want to hit you.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have no idea. But Joey, you hit me once, didn't you?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh,
I would never. Unless it was during my driver's test. There was a cone that I did back up into on accident. If you were dressed in fluorescence, I could see how I got mixed up.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, so Joey's about ready for a nap because he's so dang old. Now, anything else you want to throw in here before we let you go and do some? What's our weather going to be? See, this will be on Saturdays and Sundays and stuff like that. So if I ask you what the weather's going to be like today, you can be wrong because it's already passed.
That's a good point. So I could talk about the weekend.
Let's talk about the weekend.
Because I feel like, the pools I know opened up last weekend, but we've gotten cheated a little bit.
We did get cheated. That was
last
terrible.
Weekend there was a couple words that I couldn't say on air that just perfectly summed up the weather.
I can tell. Yeah.
And this weekend's not going to be that.
It's not going to be that? You promise?
I promise. I promise. I'm very, very confident.
It's not your fault. It's just not your fault. Leave you alone. Well, I tell you what, this has been great. Have you had a good time?
I've had a great time.
Okay, we're going to do it again, and we're going to watch the movie.
Well, I'm right down the street.
Okay, I know you are. You're right down the street. And so, Joey, have you had a good time?
Had a great time. Channel 4 preempted Jeopardy on May 16th because of the tornado. I'm not mad about it because we were able to make you answer a bunch of questions. So just as good as Ken Jennings, really. I forgot that she's not downtown anymore. We were going to give her this free pepper spray.
That's right. I'm sorry. Normally, anybody that comes on the show as a consolation prize, I mean, we always start off with a pepper spray in case you say, Todd's being obnoxious. I say, just whip out the pepper spray. And seriously, I'm so used to it now that it still stings, and I'm still slightly blinded for 3 seconds, but it's not an all-day thing. But if I do, I should have done that earlier, shouldn't have I?
You were too nice today. No one's going to pepper spray you when you're a good host.
Well, I didn't say I was a good host.
Well, I won't use it on you, I promise.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I always say, don't you?
Get to the pool. It's May 31st.
If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. Till next time, I'm Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy Joey V and the lovely Leah Hill here, and sitting by us and have not pepper sprayed me the entire show. Thank you, Leah.
You're welcome.
Till next time, we'll see you.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.